So we got a young Charlie Wood here, the son of Tiger Wood. And we're going to go through his movement patterns here in relations to GOATA with his golf swing. And there's going to be some things that we like and want to see and some things we don't like and see. So first things first, we're going to start on the ground with the feet. Are the feet straight? And from here, on this angle at least, that left foot appears to be a little crooked. It's hard to tell on that right foot, but that left foot's definitely a little crooked. The next thing with those straight feet are we inside ankle bone high? And this right foot, as we can see, that outer edge of the shoe is off the ground. So we know we're not inside ankle bone high because we know the pressure is on the inside edge of the foot, as this right foot shows, right? Which is not what we want. We want pressure on the outside edge. So we would not see that foot off the ground on that outside edge. But we'll even see it more as we get into the swing here. So let's just keep going up here. Are we back chain dominant? Are the hips back and the crown forward? Yes. Perfect. Just what we want. Now from this side, we're going to look at the bow and corner here. So as he starts his swing, I want you to just look. I know that it's kind of hard to see with these black pants on, but that kneecap is basically pointing in that direction. Okay, that right kneecap. But as we start the swing here, we can see that knee moves more towards us, right? It starts to open up. So knee clearly from here to there, that's setting the bow on the right side there. Back to just those inside ankle bone high versus low. I mean, you can see right there that shoe comes down to the ground as he starts to load that right leg. So he's starting to shift weight a little more to the outside edge. Just confirming that he's starting with inside ankle bone low. But that knee opens, so that's the bow. So the bow is pointing out here. If we go further up, the chest as well, the armpit, they're all pointing in that same direction as that kneecap. So that's loading the bow. That's exactly what we want to see. And then we see the exact opposite as he goes through with the swing. And we're not going to go all the way through yet, but just realize, right? Everything is pointing in the same direction here. And then it all closes, right? So now it's all pointing in the opposite direction. And then we get a really good heel away here, which just indicates proper energy release. But you really got to imagine here. Okay, loads that right leg bow and then releases it. So everything's open, right hips, kneecap. The foot would be a little more open if he was more inside ankle bone high, but chest, everything's pointing out and open. And then the corner is just the opposite. Everything goes down and in. So there you have it, transferring, loading that right leg, releasing it. Another thing here is he stays back chain dominant pretty much the whole time through. I don't know why it's showing that degrees. That's not what's important, but those hips stay back and the crown stays forward pretty much the entire swing, right? Until he gets into that follow through. So we're staying back chain dominant the whole time as well. So it's beautiful. Okay. Let's go from this angle. I'm pretty sure this is the same swing, but I'm not 100% sure. So as we can see, those feet, right, are crooked here, but we know we're back chain dominant. We want those feet to be straight. As far as how far apart the feet are is going to depend on what feels comfortable. But we can't stay inside ankle bone high with crooked feet. That's really hard to do that. So watching that right kneecap here, right, basically pointing that way. And then if we load the bow, now that kneecap's pointing more out, chest, all of it's pointing out. And then on the release, which is the corner, that kneecap absolutely points the other way. And we get a great swing there. And it's just interesting to watch him looking at this left foot here. And as he loads, this is why it's important. So he gets a little more on that inside edge here, which is not what we want. But it's interesting because as he goes to swing this shot, that foot quickly, the pressure quickly goes to the outside edge there, right? And then it stays there the whole time. Which is just kind of funny because it's like if we just started, you know, on the inside edge, if we started on the outside edge in the first place, you know, we wouldn't be wasting this movement there. And there you have it. So besides not having straight feet, you know, it pretty much checks all the boxes. Back chain dominant, not inside ankle bone high, at least not throughout the whole swing. We're setting that bow and corner on that right leg. Release it. Just like that. Every time. And it's a really good visual to just think about and feel, okay, that right leg as we load the bow. So everything's opening up in a sense. And then, you know, everything internally rotates here. Goes the other way. Proper energy, proper transfer of energy. Which is exactly what we want. The only other thing I want to show is of Tiger Woods here. When we're talking about columns. So he doesn't have straight feet either in this one. But I'm going to draw this box here, right? With his head in it. And his head, because we're on both feet here, right? So our head should be pretty much in the middle of those feet. And his are. So he's still in his columns. And his head, for the most part, stays within that box the whole time through. So he stays within his columns. It would just be a lot better if he had those straight feet. But a lot of the same characteristics as his son, right? So that right kneecap's looking right at us. And then as he loads, there it is. It moves, right? Hips, chest. That right arm pit is also pointing that way. Everything's open. And then when he goes down for the swing, then it all starts to close. So kneecap, hip, chest, right armpit, do a full flip. Now they're all going the other way, which is exactly what we want. And it's just the same thing over and over, right? These GOATA principles. So there you have it. So everything we're doing in GOATA from groundwork up is working on all of these principles. Other than that, that's really all there is to it. And it's pretty cool to think how, these GOATA laws apply to everything, every sport, everything that we do. It's not just golf. It's not just basketball or football. It's everything. And even he stays back chain dominant for the most part too here. Just perfect. So there you have it. It's just a simple breakdown of what GOATA looks like in a golf swing.